In today's news, the upcoming Democratic National Convention in Chicago faces potential disruptions as large protests are expected, with major concerns centered around the Biden administration's handling of the Gaza conflict and support for Israel. The Philippines and China are also trading blame over a recent collision in the South China Sea, while Vice President Kamala Harris proposes a significant increase to the corporate tax rate. Meanwhile, Iran has been implicated in a cyber operation targeting the Trump presidential campaign. Ukraine introduces robot dogs on the battlefield, and House Republicans have released a report alleging impeachable offenses by President Joe Biden. Let's dive into these stories. The Democratic National Convention, set to take place in Chicago, is expected to be met with large-scale protests. The Biden administration's policies regarding the Gaza conflict and its military support for Israel have sparked significant public outcry. Permits issued by the city suggest that up to 25,000 protesters could converge on Chicago. The Coalition to March on the DNC, one of the main organizing groups, has secured permits for stages and a marching route, anticipating even larger crowds than initially expected. Hatem Abudaya, co-founder of the U.S.-Palestinian Community Network, emphasized that the protests are not expected to turn violent, but rather aim to make a historic statement. Additionally, the Poor People's Army, led by Cherry Honkala, plans to highlight issues of homelessness and poverty, reminding the public of the struggles faced by the poor in America. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling has issued a warning, stating that while the police will protect the First Amendment rights of protesters, any move toward rioting will be met with immediate intervention. The DNC has also expressed support for peaceful protests, but stressed the importance of maintaining order during the convention. Tensions have escalated in the South China Sea following a collision between Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard vessels near Sabina Shoal. The incident, which occurred early in the morning, resulted in damage to both ships, with each side blaming the other. The Philippines accused China of aggressive maneuvers, while China claimed that the Philippine ship illegally entered its waters and deliberately caused the collision. The South China Sea has long been a region of intense territorial disputes, with China asserting dominance over most of the area, despite international rulings against its claims. The Philippines, supported by the U.S., continues to challenge China's actions in the region. The U.S. ambassador to the Philippines condemned China's actions, reinforcing the ongoing geopolitical struggle in these contested waters. Vice President Kamala Harris has proposed raising the U.S. corporate income tax rate to 28%, up from the current 21% established under Trump's tax cuts. Harris's campaign spokesman stated that the increase is a responsible way to ensure that billionaires and large corporations pay their fair share, ultimately benefiting working Americans. The proposal could generate significant revenue, with the Congressional Budget Office estimating that each percentage point increase in the tax rate could add nearly $100 billion to federal coffers over a decade. As the U.S. faces a $35.1 trillion national debt, Harris's proposal is positioned as a measure to address fiscal challenges while balancing the interests of ordinary citizens and businesses. However, this plan is likely to spark debate, especially with Trump proposing to lower the rate to 20% if reelected. U.S. intelligence services have identified Iran as responsible for a recent cyber operation targeting the Trump presidential campaign. The operation involved the hacking of Roger Stone's personal email account, which was then used in an attempt to gain access to Trump campaign networks. The hackers also leaked internal campaign documents. The FBI, ODNI, and CISA have confirmed that these actions are part of a broader effort by Iran to interfere in the upcoming U.S. election and undermine confidence in democratic processes. This incident highlights the ongoing cybersecurity threats faced by both political parties as the election approaches. Ukraine has reportedly deployed robot dogs on the battlefield, marking the first known use of quadruped unmanned ground vehicles in combat. These robots are being used for various tactical purposes, including intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) in urban and trench environments, as well as delivering communications equipment and medical supplies. The introduction of robot dogs represents a significant development in military technology, although there is concern that they could eventually be weaponized. House Republicans have released a comprehensive report accusing President Joe Biden of impeachable offenses related to an influence peddling scheme benefiting his family through foreign business deals. The report, which details Biden's alleged involvement in these activities dating back to his time as vice president, has intensified the political battle in Washington. The report also targets Hunter Biden, highlighting his legal challenges and foreign business dealings. While Republicans argue that the president used his influence to benefit his son's business partners, Democrats have dismissed the inquiry as a politically motivated attempt to discredit Biden. The House may vote on impeachment, but the outcome remains uncertain given the Democratic control of the Senate. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.